What's going on, Geeks? You're listening to episode 329 of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. My name's Cody Armour. I'm here with Lj.Lowery.
Yo.
And Shelley Nollan.
Hello.
This week, we're geeking out about Smash Bros. Fallout, if we want to call it geeking out. CCXP, and so many movie trailers and TV trailers that Optimus Prime himself would have a hard time pulling them all. Because they're trailers, and he's a semi. That's the joke, guys. Straight into the games. I feel like we need to explain it.
Took all 18 wheels to drive that one home.
Yeah. Nice. That's awesome. We'll get into the games we've been playing. I think that I will stop talking about Cyberpunk next week. I think next week will be my last time talking about it until the DLC comes out, at least. Cool. I am right there. I got to the mission where it was like, you might want to go do everything else first. And I said, okay.
You're like, I have.
Yeah. So I've got a couple more things that I can do. And then I'm pretty sure I'm basically done with it. The only thing that I haven't done is all of the NCPD things. So those who don't know, the NCPD, it's like the police department. It just puts a call out, like bounties, I guess, kind of. But they're all over the map. There's a ton of them. Like 20 or 30 interactions per, like,
so you can
area.
literally just be the Cyberpunk version of Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah. It's interesting because you just kind of go and you wreck shop and then you get evidence and then the mission's over. And they're really small and quick, but there's just so many that's kind of tedious and boring.
You're like, hey, I killed some guys, but here's some info for you.
Yeah. So the one thing that I'm really appreciating, and I trying not to spoil anything, but I think this is something that people would want to know going in. I think it's really cool setup that the ending is you don't need to worry about if you're playing a certain way that you would be locking certain interactions at the end game. I mean, I guess you could, but basically you are unlocking as you're playing through the story different interactions for that ending, and so. The different endings. With Witcher, there would be things throughout the game, Witcher 3, that would basically like change the ending forever. And you'd have to go way back to like the beginning of the game to fix certain things. This isn't really doing that. It's more of you're unlocking things as you play certain things. The more you do, the more you unlock, and then you have different options to choose from at the very end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm appreciating that. I'm really glad that I'm
better than the, hey, make choices throughout the game, but only the last choice is the one that really matters kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what this is, but it
sounds more creative, though. Like, it sounds like they just don't do
that. I'm going to go through and I will play probably the different endings if it's not too drawn out, this last mission. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like, I don't have to go back in the game to, like, figure out different things, different outcomes. Right. And it's kind of got that, it's become like a trope lately for these new RPG games you befriend everybody, and then it's not everyone banding together. It's like you choose at the end who you want in the ending. So it's cool. I'm really excited to finish it up, and I think I've got just about everybody unlocked, which is fun. Haven't made anyone mad, apparently.
Nice. Everybody's friend.
Yep. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm really stoked for it. I'm kind of sad to see this game be done, but I'm also getting to a point where the game is getting repetitive, because any game will get repetitive if you play it this long. So we'll see. Maybe we'll move on to God of War. Really, really excited about it. I'm geeking out about that. I have a shirt from Neophoric, and it is a God of War shirt. On a tangent, Neophoric is Neophoric, like the number 4. And that's not a sponsorship. It's just cool. It's like a God of War, but cyberpunky looking shirt, and that's where my head's at right now.
I feel like that's like your perfect vibe. Is like,
yes,
I understand like God of War technically
he's
not Norwegian, but like sort of the Viking vibes with cyberpunk vibes, like that's like your aesthetic.
So perfect for me right now.
Yeah.
So I love it. They've got a bunch of other designs too. They've got a Gengar shirt that's really cool. I might be sold out at this point, but love them. And it came with a PS5 skin, which is really cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
You can get out about that too. That's kind of gaming related, I guess.
Yeah.
Will be soon. I'll be playing God of War probably by January at the very least. So
I think I'm getting it as a Christmas present, so I'm stoked for that.
Nice.
The one game I probably haven't bought this season.
Speaking of, what have you been playing, LJ?
Okay, so me with the problems with the issues. I got both Callisto Protocol and Midnight Suns.
Okay.
It's weird because I was thinking that Callisto Protocol was going to be the one that was kind of the hit, right? You know, because it's from an original Dead.
Really hyped.
It's from the original Dead Space creator and all that, but it actually turns out this one is the more obtuse of the two games. So it's got all the Dead Space kind of trappings, horror stuff, you know. But it's actually not been getting received that well. I mean, it's been getting like 6s and 7s, I think, but it's definitely got some weird mechanics. It almost reminds me of like when a new game tries different stuff, almost like a Death Stranding, where it's like they kind of try their own thing, you know, like just because they can. Because the melee has like this weird dodge mechanic, but you're going through this giant space cyberpunk prison. And I said cyberpunk, so Cody goes, ooh.
My head literally came up.
But that's basically like, apparently the world outside is very cyberpunky, because they kind of show that in the intro. But it's this giant prison that you're trying to get out of. I kind of like it so far. Like, I'm not hating it. But I've enjoyed it so far. It's taken some time to get used to some of the weird, like, dodge mechanics that they added, which feels weird for a game like that. But the game that kind of, I think, took everybody by surprise is Midnight Suns. That game got extremely well reviewed, like 8s and stuff like that.
It looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
It's basically
I was not interested, but I suddenly became interested when I realized it's like the strategy turn-based, but also like you can hang out with all the other heroes and stuff.
You can hang out with the different heroes, yeah.
And like my boss actually was the one who was just like, you should try it out because you love Persona and Fire Emblem so much. It's basically like that. And I'm like,
it kind of is. You hang out at the Abbey, is this place that's closed off in like Salem, and that's like the home base of Midnight Suns. And they actually explain why Iron Man and Captain America and all those people are there. It's because like the Avengers reach out for help from the Midnight Suns, basically, because it's like this bigger supernatural threat. You make your own character, which is very Mass Effect-ish. You know, like you make this character that's been asleep for thousands of years, and that's how you get introduced to the world. And it's one of those things where it's like we probably should have trusted the XCOM devs a little more than we were. I think it was more the Marvel licensing that people were very skeptical about, and the card stuff. But their concept for the card stuff is basically like you're not leveling up or gaining stats, you know, to get stronger necessarily. Like, you're a superhero, you're obviously gonna smash through, you know, people through stuff, or throw them into stuff, or, you know, do all these cool epic moves already. So the leveling up comes from leveling up your cards and making those stronger. And they literally mix cards from each hero into one hand, and you basically choose like, okay, like where's this character gonna be at, and you know, like a lot of the work that XCOM kind of made you do is done for you, but also it's like, okay, can I play this card? Let's see what happens. Can I knock it into this character, or can I knock it into this environment? So it still has a way of making your heroes feel powerful, even though it's like card and strategy based. But it's very much feels like a puzzle. It's when you try to do these encounters, because it's like, okay, what is the best way to maximize this turn? And it's cool. I like it. You unlock skins and other things, and you can forge cards. Like if you get this particular currency and stuff, like it's cool. It's fun. It's got a photo mode, which I didn't expect, but I'm thoroughly happy with.
Heck yeah.
I don't think I don't think there's any romancing per se, but like my character, I'm trying to make her. I made a female hunter character because they just call her the hunter. But I feel like she's a warrior, therefore she's probably going to feel like she relates to Blade a lot more. You know, like So, like, I'm hanging out with Blade as much as I can and getting to know his character more because I feel like Blade is the kind of the one of the more mysterious types, you know, like, and I feel like that's who my character would connect with more. Not so much like Captain Marvel and Iron Man and the other characters. The Midnight Suns are all younger, not kids, but like
younger
teenagers, kind of. Yeah, so it's like it's kind of neat because it's like you'd expect. I don't know. It's just kind of neat. It feels like the superheroes we all know and love are getting to know these younger, more supernatural based like heroes. Oh, what's the name of the new Ghost Rider that's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I forget his names.
I feel like I have his actor's name.
Robbie Ray? No, Robbie. Robbie Reyes. Yeah, so he's younger in this too. Like a bunch of the. Yeah, so it's kind of neat because you also you very much feel like an outsider, like getting to know these characters for the first time, even though I do know most of these characters. So it's just kind of neat to experience that world from an outside perspective, from a character that's hasn't even been around, you know, like, so it's kind of cool. I like it. It's fun. So yeah, not much else to say about it. I just, it's surprising to me that this is the game out of all these new releases that came out Friday. Like Midnight Suns is the one that's a bigger surprise. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. So those are the things I've been playing.
What have you been playing, Shelley?
I haven't been playing anything new. I'm still just playing Fire Emblem Path of Radiance.
Nice.
Yeah, it's still just fun and good. I think I'm close to the end. I think there's like 28 chapters. And I think I'm on chapter like 23 or 24. So I'm already getting close to the end, but I do have the next game lined up, Radiant Dawn.
Sweet.
So I'll probably just jump right into that. Man, it's just so good. Ike is just the best Fire Emblem protagonist, kind of hands down, in my opinion. Or if not the best, one of the best. Like, he's probably my favorite protagonist character. Even though I really love Robin. Robin's still awesome. And I personally even like Byleth. I know a lot of people don't like Byleth. I don't like Corrin. I'm just kind of going down the line, I suppose. But I just really like Ike. We like Ike. But yeah, I haven't really been playing anything new. So that's all.
Cool. We'll get into the gaming news then. Go ahead, LJ.
Alright, some fairly quick stuff here, kind of kicking things off. They put out I guess this is going to be an in-game cinematic, or an in-game thing. It's not even a cinematic, which I thought there was going to be actually in-game stuff. But they released another teaser for Dragon Age Dreadwolf for, I guess, Dragon Age Day the other day.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It is heavily, I guess, it's spoiler territory, like Shelley said, I think, before the podcast. If nobody has played the DLC, I've played enough, at least, of the main game to go, that's weird. Like, I didn't know that this character was, had this particular backstory, or, was this particular way.
Yeah.
So it's got me wanting to dive back into this trilogy before the game comes out. But yeah, so my theory is they just had a Dragon Age Day. And so the show comes out the day after the Game Awards. This comes out before the Game Awards. So I have a feeling we're going to get a big Dragon Age Dreadwolf reveal. I have a feeling we're at least going to get a release, if not a release date, we're going to get a release window.
I think you're probably right.
Cool.
I hope so.
My prediction is that it's going to be like maybe not March, but maybe summer. Mm-hmm. If not, maybe. I guess that.
I'm hoping sometime this next year for sure.
I want to feel like it's earlier. I want to feel like it's going to come out quicker than we expect. But I'd also say like next fall is like probably more of a realistic expectation.
Right.
I'm trying to remember when Inquisition came out though, because I don't remember if it was like earlier in the year. But anyway, I do have a feeling we're gonna get a big reveal Dragon Age related. It feels like they're all making this push for that particular reason.
For sure, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah,
I've been looking forward to Dragon Age for so long. This Dragon Age game, and it's just like, and you already mentioned it kind of too, but it's like it's just crazy how like this is if you're not familiar with the Dragon Age series, most of the games do have, it's all in the same world, and it does take place chronologically.
Yeah.
But they're usually with different characters.
So far apart too, right?
Usually different locations. So it's like sometimes you'll see like almost like an Easter egg, or like cameos, really prominent characters will be like kind of and come back in the game. So like Cullen, for example, is introduced in the first game, but then he's one of your main buddies in the third game, for example. Then Varric also, who actually narrates this little cinematic. It's Varric's voice, which makes sense.
That kind of was nostalgic hearing Varric again.
Yeah, so like he was in the second game and in the third game, and like I don't know, potentially he's going to be in the fourth game. He's a very popular character, so it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, usually they go from game to game to like, okay, you're in a different place, new people, whatever. But like, I mean, you probably aren't going to play the Inquisitor again in this game, in the fourth game. But it's like it's a direct sequel, right? It's like you are picking up where Inquisition left off. But what's even crazier is that like it's not even right when Inquisition, the game itself, ends off. It's when the DLC ends off. And if you played Inquisition and you didn't get the I'm trying to remember the specific DLC, because there's like 3 different DLC like story DLC, and like 2 of them are not important at all. There was just one that was like, it was essentially an epilogue that's like really important. So if you didn't play that DLC, you have no idea what's going on like with this game. You don't know who the Dreadwolf is, or maybe you Dreadwolf's been mentioned, but you don't know who it is. You're just like, oh, the Dreadwolf people, that's a thing. But like you don't know who that is, and you don't realize that it's a particular character who you were with the entire time.
They lay it out in this teaser, which kind of trips me out. I'm like, ooh. I actually liked that character, so that's
exactly.
So I'm like, this is juicy. Like
I remember when I first played that. I played that DLC for the first time because obviously I played Dragon Age Inquisition, and I thought, he was totally fine, mysterious, whatever. But you're kind of just like, oh, he's just a guy. Then you play the DLC, and you're just like, it's what? Excuse me? Especially if you romanced him, which I didn't, but my best friend at the time did. She like loves him, and so she like romanced him, and it was like immediately like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? So it's like an interesting case where it's like, I don't know. I just really wish that DLC wasn't DLC. I wish it was actually at the end of the game, so that everyone who played Inquisition will know what's going on. It's crazy to me the fact that like this is essentially spoiling, and not just the cinematic, but just this whole game in general, right?
Yeah,
because it's always, ever since the beginning, you're just like the material, everything, right? Has always been pointing to what it's going to be about, which was always clear if you played the DLC. But if you didn't play the DLC, literally no inclination. They don't explain any of that crap. So
trying to get Marvel level with these connections.
Yeah, so that's a little. I think that's pretty unfortunate. Actually, there's probably tons of people who played the game, liked it enough, but didn't love it enough to like want to pay extra money for DLC. Like, freaking people like me, right? Which is totally.
I hardly ever get to the season passes or like the expansions in any game. Like
exactly. And granted, I think for me it was like Game of the Year. I think included everything, so that's part of it.
Yeah.
So at least it's accessible now with Game of the Year. Like you don't necessarily have to like go out of your way to get the DLC. But for a lot of people, they didn't get the DLC.
No.
Yeah. And all I'm saying is just gonna be really it's just a little bit unfortunate for people who are like getting spoiled this way.
Got a few hoops DLC to jump through if you want to catch up.
Exactly. And granted, again, that DLC was really, really awesome, and you kind of have to question like, well, the next game has to be about this. There's no way it cannot be about this, but also what? And of course, it is about that, but still just anyway. I don't know if what I'm saying even makes sense at all. But I'm excited, but it's like I wish everyone was able to experience the betrayal, right? The same like, oh my gosh feeling as all the people who played the DLC is all I'm trying to say. So yep. But I am excited. It's been a while since I've played Dragon Age, so
it's about
I feel like I should play that game at some point.
It's about time. I did dive back into the first one for a little while a few weeks ago, and that was
heck
really
nice.
It's
low-key the best one. The first one. It's just like old. So you have to
agree.
Kind of have to, the story and the characters are the best for sure, in my opinion. Anyway, that's
speaking of Game Awards, Jeff Keighley apparently on Twitter Spaces, whatever. Everybody's like, oh, whatever. Like nobody cares about Twitter Spaces.
Wait, what is Twitter Spaces different than Twitter?
It's on Twitter, but it's like a thing where you can hear people talk and stuff like that.
You basically, people can, like, especially a lot of, like, creators or, like, influencers.
It's like passing
can,
the
like,
mic around, kind of, yeah.
And then it creates a little area where, like, you can join the space and, like, talk and, like, listen to people. It's kind of weird.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that makes sense.
I'm so out of the loop.
I just feel like it's one of those little pop-ups at the top of your Twitter feed that, like, you just want to get rid of.
Exactly.
You're
like, hey, this person I'm following has a space open. You can
it's kind of intrusive the way they do it, but anyway. So during one of these Twitter Spaces discussions, Jeff Keighley has said that the Game Awards will be shorter and have fewer reveals, which I don't know, like, how much shorter, but last year that thing was 3 hours and 42 minutes. So, like, hopefully it's cut it down to maybe 3. I mean, that includes the pre-show as well. So yeah, he said, like, so we don't know how much shorter, how many fewer announcements, but I think that goes to show that they were at least listening to people, because I know there's people that are like, obviously it's like, it's an award show. You want to get back to the point of the show. But also you don't want people bored for 4 hours.
Yeah, I'm like, let's have just as
four
many
hours
reveals and less awards.
Yeah, and that's
I just want E3.
Time.
I'm being honest.
Like, yeah, I mean, that's a long time for an award show too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, award shows are usually a couple hours a piece, but that was just like over 3 hours is insane. Yeah, I mean, that's not really much else to say there, except that, like, they listened to feedback, and we'll see what happens on Thursday night. So if you're listening to this when it gets published, make sure you join us on the Twitch channel, on our Geeks Under Grace Twitch channel. We're going to be watching the award show together. There might be a few staff members alongside Anna. Anna's hosting it like she has almost every year, and a few of us will be in the Discord. But
I'll be in the Discord. I'll be in the Geeks Under Grace chat as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Some of us will be in both. But it's exciting. It's always an exciting time of year for me. But that's twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace. If anybody does want to come watch the award show with us, I'll be there a little bit later personally, because I don't get off of work until like right when the show starts. So, but I will be there. Yeah. So that's it for the Game Award news. The last piece of news, I'm going to give Shelley the floor here, because she knows a lot more about what's happening than Cody and I do.
Yeah.
But Nintendo basically they shut down the Smash World Tour. It got canceled because they weren't going to license it.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, and it's crazy how big this has blown up to be. Great, I think, personally, because Nintendo has been a jerk to Smash, competitive Smash for, forever, actually. It's actually funny, I was listening to some old podcasts of ours, and there was one back in like April or March or something, where I was also talking about Nintendo crapping on
the Evo stuff.
I think that's what it was.
Because that was when they said they weren't going to be an Evo.
And I think I even mentioned, I was like, oh, well, this Panda Cup, right? But like that's kind of an exception. Well, now, right?
The exception is no longer. Yeah. Wow.
So for people who don't know, basically, Smash World Tour was a circuit that ran throughout this entire year, and it's like a really big deal because basically different tournaments could be a part of this circuit all around the world, and it basically was like encouraging people, especially really good players, to participate at all these tournaments and do really well. That allowed them to be part of the finals, and then you just get a bunch of money, tons of money actually.
Yeah. At
least as far as I don't remember the actual number, but as far as Smash majors go, like actually a pretty significant amount of money.
Nice.
And it was entirely like grassroots, right? It was being run by, I think, the Beyond the Summit team, which Summit is like also a really big tournament that happens annually for both Melee and Ultimate. So basically it's like community based and created, and a lot of top players throughout the year have been like going to all these like tournaments like all around the world, as it says, Smash World Tour, in order to like basically get enough points and to participate in these finals and to like do really well and get money, and to just like do well in Smash, right? But,
yeah.
And so not only is this a tournament that's been going on, a tournament series, has also been something called the Panda Cup. There's been a couple different tournaments that have also been associated with that. And Panda Cup is sort of a collaboration between an organization called Planet Global and then also Nintendo, right? And so they've actually been licensed by Nintendo. They got Nintendo's permission to run this and sort of like support. And so there's also kind of in a similar way, there's some tournaments that have been like actually the one I think here in Seattle was sort of associated with Panda Cup. And so like you could go to these tournaments and again like rank up like essentially points and places to be able to go to the Panda Cup like finale. And also kind of it's kind of a similar thing except it's less worldwide. I think it's more within the country, which is why World Tour, right? So then what came out was that Smash World Tour was canceled, and basically all the staff members and TOs and people said the reason was because Nintendo they kind of felt like pressured because they weren't licensed by Nintendo. And Nintendo themselves didn't even necessarily say like that they're canceling it or that they were going to send a cease and desist. It was actually just them saying like that they wouldn't be able to allow a license and that you can't run a tournament without a license. That's all they said. They didn't, they had very corporate speech of like, oh, well, we weren't going to give you a license. Yeah, you can't run a tournament without a license. So, and the floor is yours kind of thing. And so, and that's happened before, right? But in Smash World Tour probably was even still going to keep going. After that, really what's been the kicker is that Panda Global, there were accusations of the CEO of Panda Global, who in the past has been known to be really supportive of the scene and has, there's a lot of folks who are sponsored by Panda Global and have been for years and years. But it turns out the CEO was basically pressuring, or again, accused, right? He was accused of kind of bullying other TOs of these tournaments that are associated with Smash World Tour, saying like, hey, you should be a part of Panda Cup instead. Like, hey, it would be a shame if Nintendo found out this was unlicensed, or like, it'd be a shame if Nintendo shut down your tournament, and just like things like that, where it's being very like competitive and just kind of being like, oh, I have Nintendo in my pocket, I have my Nintendo in my corner, and I'm gonna like call Daddy Nintendo if you don't give me what I want, kind of behavior. And this was behavior that a lot of different TOs verified, or a lot of different TOs said like, yeah, the same thing happened to me, which is pretty scary, and it just sucks because it's like, that's supposed to be an organization that's supporting all of Smash. So it's been this whole fiasco of like, first they announced that it was canceled, and again, super last second. It was supposed to be like next week or the week after. Like, it was last second, and all these people who have literally traveled the world, spent tons of money traveling the world. It's like, okay, cool. So it's all for
probably
nothing,
had tickets purchased already and such like that too. Yeah,
absolutely. And there's some people who were like, there's a tournament this last weekend called Main Stage. A lot of people were like, yeah, I'm not going to go to Main Stage. I want to focus on Smash World Tour, right? Or I want to focus on Panda Cup. So it kind of turned to this thing where it's like Smash World Tour was canceled. People blamed Nintendo, but then some people were like, oh, well, no, but like Panda's also having, fault in this as well. And then what happened is that Nintendo released a statement first, basically saying, well, hey, we never told them to shut down. We never told them to cancel. We just couldn't provide a license for them because of safety reasons, which they didn't specify what the safety reasons were. They just were like, it kind of sounds like they just kind of pulled it out of somewhere. And then after that, Panda Global released a statement saying like, hey, well, our staff's been working really hard to like get this going. And basically not really apologizing and just saying like, oh, we want to support the community. And so everyone called them out because it was a really, really bad apology, or it was a really bad response. And it was one of those things where it's like, oh, clearly they collaborate with Nintendo. Nintendo decided to put out their statement first and then Panda to just kind of like cover them. And it's like, everyone's really mad about it. And there was just no like, they said like, oh, like our CEO did, was kind of mean to one person or whatever, but like, that was a long time ago, and they kind of like, said it was fine, or, let's just forget about it kind of thing. And we're like, excuse me, no. So, and again, like, it's like almost every day things happen. So pretty much right after that, all of a sudden, all these people, casters and smashers and just people who work for Panda Global or sponsored by Panda Global started resigning, putting in their resignations letter, which is really significant. A lot of these people who have been working under Panda Global for literally years, who are able to have a career in Smash because of them, and so that's like really crazy. I think they dropped like 80% of their sponsors at this point, which is pretty significant. Yeah. And then, like, today, I want to say today or yesterday, the CEO actually posted and said, like, oh, I have proof, like, these people lied and I have proof. But he didn't, like, I'll release a statement soon. But he didn't actually release a statement. He just said that he's going to release a statement, and he's like, oh, yeah, well, they lied and I have proof. But I'm not going to provide it yet. I'm going to put a statement out later.
Wow.
And so that was like a whole thing. And then finally, also recently, kind of near the same time, Panda Global said that they dropped him as a CEO. He's no longer CEO. And that they postponed the Panda Cup. But a lot of people are saying, well, hold on. He still owns the company. They can't just get rid of him, right? He still owns the company. And two, something else that's happened is Ludwig, who everyone in the Smash community loves, right? Like, he's a huge creator now, but his roots are in Smash, and he still loves his roots. So what he did is when he learned that this was happening, because not only is Smash World Tour canceled, Panda Cup, everyone's dropping from Panda Cup because they don't want to support them, right? Yeah. Because they've treated the community like crap, which is totally fair and good to drop out of that. So he basically is like, hey, well, I'm just going to do a tournament the same weekend, and I'm going to invite all those people who are going to go to Smash World Tour, which is really freaking baller. And he has tons of money.
Who cares about a license? Let's go.
Exactly. I think Jacksepticeye is also going to be giving some money or, like, being a sponsor as well for this tournament. So it's like he has these connections, and he cares about the Smash community, and it's like we all stand up for it. And it's one of those things where it's like, I never care about the game awards. I don't care about who awards get what. I never care about Creator of the Year. I genuinely hope Ludwig gets Creator of the Year because he deserves it, because he loves the Smash community so much. And he's just such a cool guy. So, yeah, it's like all these layers, right? And so people are saying, like, oh, they're just postponing the Panda Cup because of Ludwig.
A lot of he said, she said kind of.
It's crazy. And so it's like the CEO has yet to actually put out an official statement or apology of any kind. He just is like accusing all these TOs of lying, but he's been dropped. It's a mess. All that's coming of this is everyone in the community is angry, is sad, because now there's this more threat of like these big majors who, that if they don't have a license, there's even more of a threat now than before of that they're just going to get shut down. So a lot of people are saying like, oh, are majors even happening? Like 2 huge majors that were scheduled for next year have already been canceled for now. They may come back up, but they've already been canceled because of this, just because they're like scared that Nintendo's going to shut them down, or that Panda or someone's going to like bully them into shutting down. So it's a mess, and it changes day by day, and I probably talked for too long, but that's the rundown.
But it's educational. It's just like
I didn't think this would blow up, but like people are talking about it. I see like tons of creators talking about it. I mean, we have IGN talking about it, we have Kotaku talking about it. And honestly,
Geeks Under Grace is talking about it.
We're talking about it. Like, I'm really grateful for that because.
And I love how the fighting game scene is just getting so much more love lately too. Like, because I think of like, I think it's more officially sponsored, but I think of like, oh, what if like Tekken World got canceled, or what if Bandai decided, oh no, we don't want you doing this stuff, you know?
Exactly.
Or even Capcom was like, nope, no more Street Fighter stuff.
It's baffling to think about, right? It's like, that sounds so nonsense. Yeah. But it's like, that is the story of Nintendo and Smash's history. Nintendo just does not support the Smash community. And right now it's like, we're facing this betrayal of this once beloved organization that used to support the community, all of a sudden betraying the community. And it's really sad. But we're all feeling like, come together. I feel like there's been like this sort of unanimous, like we're all on the same side on something for once, and that's really refreshing. And you know, we'll see what happens at Ludwig's tournament, and but anyway, it's just kind of crazy. I'm glad this is blown up though.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Well, it's not cool, but
cool. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into the movies. LJ, I'm mostly interested in your movie because I loved The Fat Man with Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
And this feels like a distant cousin to that. How's Violent Night?
So it's a 4 out of 10 movie that you go in expecting a 4 out of 10 movie, basically.
Okay.
It's one of those things where it's like I never expected this to be a good movie.
Did you see The Fat Man to compare it at all?
No, not at all. But
The Fat Man's not a good movie either.
I've been on a roll with Santa stuff lately, so I might just watch Fat Man and just complete the Santa Infinity Gauntlet of Christmas movies. Because I've literally watched not everything. I haven't watched Bad Santa yet, but I don't need to watch that. But so Violent Night it's ultra cheesy. It's not very. It's really not a very good movie, but it just feels like I want Ed Boon to literally put David Harbour's Santa Claus in the next Mortal Kombat game.
Okay.
It's exactly what it is. It's Violent Night. The dude is literally there's a reason for it. And honestly, you should watch this movie, I think you especially, Cody, just for the backstory.
Okay.
Santa has an origin story that is pretty epic.
For the lore.
Yes. And it's so darn silly, but it's I'm not even going to say anything just because I feel like to me, it's the coolest part of the movie because it's I didn't know if he was going to have a backstory or not, but it's so dumb, but I was highly entertained by it. It's exactly what it says it's going to be. It's violent, a lot of language. Not really any sexual stuff, which I think is fine.
Yeah,
but it's basically Die Hard. But if Die Hard, I trust me, I consider Die Hard a Christmas movie. I do. It's an honorary Christmas movie, but it's Die Hard, but an actual Christmas movie.
Okay,
is basically what it is. It's that Paul Blart kind of Die Hard setup where it's this takes place all in one night, all in one building. You got some dudes with taking hostages and Santa's the guy that takes him down, basically.
Okay. It's kind of like Princess on Hulu was. Yeah. I think it was called The Princess. It's just her video gaming her way through the tower.
Yes, and it's literally it's as advertised. That's the best way to say it, because saying the things I've said aren't spoilerly, just because that's how the movie is marketed.
Yeah. Cool.
If you really feel like going on a bargain Tuesday for this movie, then that's probably a fun way to spend $5,
Mm-hmm.
Or because I paid full price, and I went to see Last Night on a Sunday, and I didn't hate it, but I know it wasn't good. But I go into movies and I like that not expecting it to be good. I expected it to be stupid and dumb and just out there, and that's exactly what they do. The jokes and the Christmas puns are so darn stupid, but obviously y'all know me, y'all know the jokes we crack on this podcast.
It's true.
It's up my alley. I went home and told my stepdad, I'm yeah, you need to watch this movie, you'd love it.
I think you'll enjoy The Fat Man. My favorite thing about The Fat Man is it took itself very seriously, and to the point where that was the joke.
So this kind of does a bit of both. It's they obviously joke, but there's also just it's why is this even taking any form of seriousness? It's just yeah, it's
you'll like The Fat Man. I'm interested. I want to see it just so I can compare the two.
I want you to see it just so you can know the backstory. David Harbour is great. That dude's he just kind of owns it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's a fun ride. I imagine it
Sleigh
won't
ride.
be. That's a good one. I imagine.
Stop.
I imagine.
Stop.
I imagine it won't be on. It'll be on demand before long. I don't think before Christmas long. It could be. I have no idea. It might drop right the week of Christmas or something. But I think if you're looking for a movie to watch, I guess you could go watch Avatar when that comes out. But also, if you feel like wasting money on something ultra stupid, this is the thing to waste it on.
Okay.
But that's all I got. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Cool.
Before I say anymore. So.
Well,
it was worth it, but trash.
We've all been talking about Andor for the last few weeks now, and so I had to go watch Rogue One.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was really cool. I've seen Rogue One before, and it's crazy because I didn't really remember Andor in Rogue One at all. I kind of remember that he was a character, and that was basically it.
He was a dude.
Yeah. It's interesting because he's definitely not the same person within the there's a 5-year jump between the first season of Andor and this, and so I'm really curious when they do Andor season 2, which I think has been confirmed. They've just got a long way to go before Andor is Captain Andor from Rogue One, which completely forgot that he was a captain, and that he's so all in on the rebellion in the movie itself. And so I don't know. It makes me really excited for season 2 because there's just a huge difference there.
Probably a lot of character growth waiting to happen.
Yeah. We've got to see him meet KS2O or K2SO, whatever it is. I think it's KS2O.
K2S, yeah.
Or K2? Yeah, K2SO.
K2SO is like the best part of that movie.
Alan Tudyk, absolutely amazing.
Yep.
I think I laughed at every, there may have been one thing I didn't laugh at that he says, and it was because it was sad. I think I reacted to everything. He's so sassy. One thing that I thought, no, that would be a spoiler. I'll stay away from that. I just thought about it mid-sentence, and I was like, nope, can't go there. But no, I think it's really cool to kind of go from the show is very character. There's a lot of character development and character depth, and then the movie, he just kind of is there. You see him; he is this kind of cool, suave rebellion captain. And that's about all you get from Cassian. And in the show, it's more of he's this kind of a low life survivor, and that's what he does is he survives. And so you can see that intelligence that he uses to survive in the show play out in the movie, but he's somebody at that point. And it's really cool to see that difference between where he starts and where he's at in the movie.
Totally.
Plus, I didn't think about the movie the first time I watched it about being about Cassian. But now that I've watched it after watching the show, I was like, he's the main character.
See, that's really also one of those things. It's like everybody was like, why do we need a show about Andor? Why? But it's like, hearing you say that is like, okay, well, here's why. Yeah, it's so cool. There's also another character in the show, and I can't remember her name, but I didn't realize that she was the same character in the movie, and they did an amazing job with it. It's the senator in the show. She's kind of like the rebel leader in the movie. Oh yeah, what's her name? Mon something.
Yeah,
we're talking about. Remember. Yeah.
But she, they made it really believe. I don't know if they aged her up in Rogue One or they de-aged her in the show, but they did a really good job, making her look 5 years younger. I feel like it's one thing they didn't really do too well with Cassian is he looks
Mon Mothma? Is that who you're talking about?
Who?
Mon Mothma?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's definitely was in the original Star Wars trilogy stuff too.
Okay.
So it is neat that they are going back that far with that character. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I hope I got the right person. I'm sure I do. But
yeah, it says Mon Mothma Andor. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was it's really cool. I'm really enjoying I really enjoyed the movie. I can't wait for season 2. That's what's sad. I'm sad that it's over. I'm in denial that it's over.
Now I know, and I heard 2024. I think is the next season, which is so sad. I want it now.
I'm glad we're getting a second season. It was not doing well, and so I was a little nervous that maybe they would just give up on it.
It is the same actor apparently, or same actress.
Yeah.
And as Rogue One and Andor. Yep. Nice.
Yeah, that's what I was amazed. I just had no idea watching the show that's... It's been so long since I've seen Rogue One. I didn't really remember the movie very well. I knew that I enjoyed it, but that was basically it.
That's wild that they've taken that character that far back.
Yeah, and Leia's father is in it, and there are other shows that are out there where that would be important. And I was like, man, they literally had to use that actor for the other shows where her father pops up, because I think he was in the prequel series too.
Yeah, Jimmy Smits, that dude's awesome. The actor.
Yeah.
That dude's, yeah.
And it was like they literally like threw him in this movie for like kind of a couple like one-liners, some name drops.
Yeah.
So it's cool that he's getting to he's becoming a more and more important part to the universe as well, in all different ways. So I don't know. I really, really like it. Rogue One is probably the best Star Wars movie. And I said to my wife the other day, Andor is not just the best Star Wars, it is better than Star Wars. People can get mad at me about that, but
right on.
We go to the originals.
I mean, we had that discussion in the Star Wars spoilers chat on Workplace, so it's like it's a chat. It's a conversation that's been happening all around the internet. It's like, do we really need space wizards, to have good Star Wars stuff like we were talking about last week?
Yeah, I think that it's better than anything Star Wars has ever made. I didn't want to mention this. This was another, and then we'll move on. One thing I thought was really interesting is the way that they use music in Rogue One is very Star Warsy. There's a lot of orchestrated, just very dramatic music, and it feels like Star Wars. Like it really connects the movie to the rest of Star Wars. I think without that music, it wouldn't feel very much like Star Wars, except for the occasional blaster, the occasional stormtrooper.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I think it's almost as if they were dipping their toes. What does it look like if we get away from Star Wars a little bit? And so I really appreciate that about Andor, is the music isn't as campy, and so it even further removes it from the Star Wars universe in a good way. Yeah, that's all.
That's awesome.
I think that's all the movies that have been watched. So, Shelley, you've got lots of trailers to go through.
It's kind of overwhelming, if I'm being honest. So, let's just get through them. Let's just start it. So,
let's go.
Let's do the 2 Disney ones first, actually. So we have Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer. And I never watched the Christmas special, or have not yet at least watched the Christmas special.
It's so good.
I have no idea if there's any sort of information from there that's really
not
trailer,
really.
Not really.
Okay. That's good to know. I don't know. It's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I don't really know what to say about it other than
it looks like it's just gonna hit. Like it looks like
emotional.
It looks like they're going to go into Rocket Raccoon's backstory, which is awesome because Rocket is low-key the most interesting one in the bunch. So that's awesome. I really like Rocket, so I'm really excited about that. It looks like it's going to be kind of focused on him, but then they're also probably going to try to find... why do I not remember her name? Gamora.
Oh, gosh. Yep.
So I was like, why?
I saw a panel that was similar to a scene in the movie trailer, and Groot had a mohawk, and I would like to know why Groot doesn't have a mohawk in the movie, because that would be so cool. It's spiky tree mohawk. This.
Oh yeah, in the comic he does have spiky. In the comics he does.
It's like a full mohawk. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
If we're gonna have cool young Groot, why don't we have mohawk Groot? That's how young adult Groot should be. He just looks like teenage Groot, but someone's in a costume right now.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just so burnt out on Marvel. I'm kind of I'll watch it probably, but I'm not necessarily getting hyped about it. I'm just I don't know. Maybe I need to watch Wakanda Forever, and that will cure my burnout.
Yeah, it's very good.
I think so. I feel like the worst of Phase 4. Now that we're getting into the new phase, I think it's gonna pick back. Things are gonna pick back up.
Yeah, there was. We didn't put this in the news anywhere because I didn't really read the article, and I don't know how much. But the headline that I had seen was that Kevin Feige has acknowledged that Phase 4 wasn't the greatest, and they'll be cutting back on quantity and try to focus on quality again. So we'll see if that happens. Apparently, Ant-Man and the Wasp is the first of that push, but could it really be the first of that push if it like they were making that movie along with all the rest of them? So it doesn't really make too much sense. But
true.
I'll also say I'm kind of underwhelmed with Adam Poulter's, or not Will Poulter's Adam Warlock. So far, we'll see. I mean, maybe he can be cool.
We need to actually see him. Like, they just showed a few shots.
I was like, okay, he looks like Will Poulter. Apparently, he's gotten really buff for the role, but I was like, well, okay.
We'll see.
He's a good actor, so that part of it I'm kind of excited about. We'll see how that goes.
Totally. So that's our first Disney trailer. Our second Disney trailer is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
So cheesy.
Is the next Indiana Jones movie. I have no opinion on this because I've never been interested in Indiana Jones. I've watched one of the really popular ones. I don't even remember which one it was, and I didn't.
I watched the Grail one.
It might have. Well,
it's
like I don't even know. So it's like
I Crystal Skull.
I've watched Crystal Skull. That's the first one I've watched, and I admit that's a bad movie, and I also understand
that's the worst one.
Everyone that it's the worst one. But I even watched one of the classics. That's what everyone says. It's like, oh, you need to watch one of the classics, and I did, and it obviously was better for sure. It was better, but I didn't care, and that's just I think because I'm too old. I've never
possibly like they're not like
The Mummy. I feel like was really inspired by Indiana Jones, and The Mummy was really good compared to Indiana Jones.
I mean, Indiana Jones, I think they were just fun popcorn movies at the time. Like,
yeah, definitely.
They're not really like these absolutely amazing like.
Now Minnesota Cuke, on the other hand, I love Minnesota Cuke. It's just the VeggieTales version.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there was ever a show. I think there was, from what I remember, and I hope listeners can maybe remember this so I don't feel crazy. There was this PC game called Minnesota Cuke, and you would it was like a platformer, and you would swing around. It was almost like Donkey Kong Country in the sense where you have to collect little tiles that spell out Cuke, I think, or spell out something. In every level, and there's monkeys, and the monkeys would try to hurt you, and you have to, avoid the monkeys, and then you end up going into this big structure. But then it got really hard, but I was like a little kid. I wasn't doing video games.
When you said Minnesota Cuke, I'm like, I have no idea, because I was not raised on VeggieTales at all.
No, I'm hoping maybe some listeners. It's a pretty deep cut. It's a pretty deep cut, even as far as VeggieTales goes. So
I was born in a heathen family lifestyle.
I knew a little bit of VeggieTales. I didn't know that one. I remember Larry Boy.
Oh,
I remember seeing ads for like one of the movies, like on a VHS, and that was it.
And Cebu. Cebu is one of the best songs ever made. Period.
It's like a foreign language you guys are speaking to me. Like, I have no idea.
Sorry.
Cebu is like a cow thing. And the song's really stupid. It's not great. I'm lying. But I don't. He interrupts them with word Cebu while they're singing the song. It's amazing.
Anyway, the Indiana Jones does look campy, and it
does.
It's just so And
I bet anybody who's a huge Indiana Jones fan is gonna love this movie.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like Colby Bryant. He's one of our.
Oh yeah, dude is gonna
amazing Geeks Under Grace.
Dude is gonna go to an early showing to that movie, and he's just gonna ride that. Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever mentioned Indiana Jones, but for some reason I'm just like,
oh no,
Colby is 100%.
I know he shared. I think he shared the trailer on Facebook or something. Dude.
Okay. Maybe that's what I'm.
Yep.
Getting it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I just know people that are really gonna be really like stoked. I feel
hopefully
like this is the same. Podcast. This is the same group of people that are like huge like Ghostbusters fans and like kind of a thing.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like a lot of people are just kind of like, oh, Ghostbusters, really? Like.
I never did watch the new one.
I need to watch it, but this is that same. I feel like this is in that same group of like older, moviegoers, like that. Like, I feel like I'm just in a spot where I did grow up watching it because my dad and brother watched Indiana Jones. But that's kind of where I'm at with it, too. Like, Shelley, I'm sure it's going to be fun. I'm going to go see it.
I have the best segue for you. Going back to VeggieTales.
Go ahead.
If it doesn't have a tail, it's not a monkey, it's an ape.
All right. That is a transition. So the next movie we're talking about is Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, and there's a big ape gorilla.
Doesn't have a tail.
Transformer. And there's actually lots of different Transformer beasts, which is very fun. I think it's cool how it's like we're just getting a Transformers movie out of nowhere, but it's not just another like reboot.
They've been planning this movie for a while.
I think technically it is, but it's like I'm tired of like just Transformers reboots being Transformers reboots, and that's all they are. Where it's like they're discovering Transformers for the first time, and that's it. That's the interesting thing. This is the interesting thing because there's all these cool animal beasts. Transformers.
Yeah. It looks like the cool thing. Still in a continuation of like the previous ones, like the Mark Wahlberg ones.
It could be. I wasn't sure. But
no, it looks cool though. Like,
is he Optimus Primal? I mean, I know that's what he like the gorilla. We never got a name.
I think he is. I think he's just called Primal or something.
Primal, okay, because he looks very Optimus-esque in his transformation. Yeah, super cool.
What trips me out is that the original Beast Wars were the original Transformers team, but they all took on new names and took on new transformations when they entered the new planet. Mm-hmm. But in this movie, it's a completely separate squad, it seems like. Like, it's a completely separate group, aside from the Autobots and the Decepticons.
That animation looks so terrible in the original.
Oh, yes. No, don't go back and watch
Is this the one where what's-his-face is a rat? What
Beast Wars.
Was that Beast Wars? Okay, I remember that show.
So, Bumblebee was basically, he became Cheetor because he was yellow, you know, like, which they showed Cheetor in the trailer. I was like, yes, because that was my boy in Beast Wars. That was my favorite.
I watched a little bit of that, and then the other Transformers I watched was this, like, anime thing where Optimus was a fire truck. And to me, I've been waiting and waiting for Optimus Prime to be a fire truck.
A fire
Let's
truck?
go.
That's weird.
Yeah. What?
I gotta know what that is.
I can't remember. Starscream was a shark.
That's weird.
And they had mini-bots. And you could buy...
Oh, I remember the toys.
Yeah, you could buy the mini-bots, and then they would, like, attach to your Transformer as, like, a gun or something.
They've rebooted... As much as they've rebooted the movies, kind of, in a pseudo way, they've rebooted that show so many times.
Yeah. We never did get Rodimus Prime. I'm kind of mad about that.
I know they did have that, like, remake. They did remake the show into, like, its own thing back in the 2000s, I think, which was kind of cool. But yeah,
I want to know what show that was. I see the fire truck.
It's Hasbro, you know, like. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? It looks. This movie actually, like, from that trailer, this does look good, and I feel like I haven't said that about a Transformers movie in a while. If at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't really care about Transformers movies usually, but give me cool designs that look like they belong in Horizon Zero Dawn, and I will bite. Okay?
Maybe Horizon Zero Dawn took some... Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Maybe, I don't know, I'm just like, I see Big Metal Bird, and I'm like, ooh!
Yep. Well, I mean, they did have...
I bet I can hunt that down.
They did have, like, Grimlock and stuff like that in the previous one, too, so, like, they've done dinos already. But now it's like they're getting into Beast Wars stuff, which is crazy too. They're just going all out.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I found it.
It looks like fun. It just looks kind of fun, and that's all Transformers ever needs to be. It's just kind of fun. So, Cody, did you find something?
I think I found the show that I'm talking about. I need to give me 1 second because it's not going to come up in a search. It's called Transformers: Robots in Disguise, and that could literally be anything.
Robots in disguise.
Yeah, okay. I just pulled it up. It's super, like, Japanese anime looking.
Huh.
It may have made by an anime studio. I'm not sure. Like, Optimus so he's a fire truck, right? He has giant, like, missile launchers on his shoulders. He looks like he could go up against a Gundam easily.
Let's go.
That was made in, like, 2000 and something, right?
2001.
That's probably the one I was thinking of then. Because, yeah, okay.
And then, Starscream is a shark. And he flies around. He's just a flying shark for some reason. I don't know. It's weird.
A Sharknado. I'm just kidding.
But we got Beast. We got Primals. I could see maybe they make Starscream mode. I don't know.
A shark.
Yeah. Such a cool show. Anyways, that was a deep cut for me.
Oh,
yeah,
like
no worries.
Memory was just like woof.
Tangent.
We gotta get a deep cut for like everything.
Yeah.
We didn't get one for Guardians of the Galaxy, but that's okay. Maybe we could get one for the Mario trailer. That's our last one we're talking about. So we got a new Mario trailer, and it's just a little bit more, characters than we got in the first teaser. And so we get to hear like Charlie Day's Luigi a little bit. We get to hear
Charlie Day's so perfect.
Peach. Peach seems fun. People are like, "How dare they give Peach a personality?" I'm like, guys, this is always been Peach. You just haven't played the games. Sorry.
Yep.
Or maybe you've played only certain games where she doesn't like get to do much. Unfortunately, like Super Mario Sunshine, for example, like she actually just doesn't get to do much, and that's.
I mean, Kingdom Battle, they literally give Peach guns. Like here.
I know, like she's always been kind of like ever played Mario Kart? I don't know. I'm a little.
Yeah.
Or I remember Paper Mario.
People, but...
You'd bake cakes, which was annoying, but she was just like escaping the castle at all times.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a whole reason where it's like, sorry, your princess is in another castle.
She's basically Princess Leia. Like, she don't care. Like, she's gonna do what she wants.
Exactly, and she.
And then Odyssey,
for her kingdom.
very Odyssey, sassy at Odyssey.
She's like, both of you suck. Like, leave me alone.
Bye.
I mean, that game has been out for a while.
I loved Odyssey. Yeah, Odyssey was great.
Yeah, Peach is fun. So anyway, this trailer looks. I mean, I guess the last one didn't even necessarily look bad. Everyone was just like, Chris Pratt, Mario voice, what? But I would say this one looks just even better, just because we're seeing even more of the fact that
this movie is going way harder than I expected. I think
they're really excited.
Throwing tons of references and like game references. Like we got Donkey Kong in there. In like a Donkey Kong.
That fight has to be a Smash reference, like straight up.
He was doing forward air. He was. Yes. He was about to punch him with forward air. Then he grabbed him and. I don't know. Like there's been a lot of memes where he's like literally like doing like a forward air, but
Yep.
That's
funny,
cool.
But it's like the fact that it's like that stadium looks like the Donkey Kong like set up with the barrels and stuff, and then later on you see he's like trying to do like one of the classic 2D platforming. We don't know why, right? But apparently to prepare for Bowser's Castle maybe. And then I mean, Rainbow Road.
Yeah, that really threw me off that we were
the
getting
Mario Kart stuff.
Yeah.
Like how much stories are going to be in this movie? Because at this point it just looks like a bunch of game references.
It's like
end credit scene, and we just have Bowser and Mario playing golf.
Dude. Oh my gosh. I just realized. What if Waluigi's in this movie? Is he in this movie? Does he have a voice confirmed?
Watch him be in an end credits.
No voice confirmed.
Watch him and Mario be in an end credits scene.
I could see that happening, Mario and Waluigi.
Yeah, but man, it's like I mean, obviously I'm gonna watch it. It's just like I don't know how good it's gonna be. Illumination's films, unfortunately, aren't good. They're almost all bad, which is really too bad. So that's why I'm like I have to really temper my expectations with this one, but I am the target audience.
The one thing that gives me a little bit of hope, and I will be more okay with Chris Pratt voicing if that's the case, is. In the first one, he didn't sound very... He almost kind of sounded like he had a Brooklyn accent, but it wasn't very Mario-esque. There is a line in here where he says, "Let's go," and it's very Super Mario Bros. Video game inspired.
I was like, yes.
And so I have this feeling that he may have... we brought this up before the podcast. Chris Pratt may have recorded lines as himself, and then recorded lines as like more of a Mario-inspired, Charles Martinet-inspired. And... I assume, like Sonic the Hedgehog, they heard the public outcry and were like, all right, well, we need to do that then. So you can't have can't have Charles Martinet come in and voice everything at this point in the movie. But hopefully Chris Pratt does his best Charles Martinet impression. Because that's been my only thing with this. The movie looks amazing besides that.
I was gonna go see it either way.
And I probably will too. It was just that first trailer was so jarring. I was like, everything's perfect, and then he talked, and I was like, gross. So we'll see.
Yep. So just a lot of trailers. And probably next week we'll be talking a lot about Game Awards stuff. So today
more trailers,
like movie trailer stuff, and next week
trailers on
season.
Game trailer stuff, and potentially other trailers. But so we can move on to TV.
I want to add too. I probably would have seen Sonic, even if Ugly Sonic had been.
Same.
I guess, yeah, that's true.
I feel like it's a very similar situation.
But thank goodness they changed it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So good. We'll go to TV then. I have been watching. I mentioned that it came out and that I wanted to. Barbarians. Mm-hmm. Barbarians is a German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I've heard of it. I was just always saying.
Mm-hmm. I think it's called Barbarins. Actually, I think it's a German word. And the first season was really, really good. I'm actually reading it subtitled. It has a dub, but the emotion behind the actors' voices is just not there when you're watching it dubbed. And they're really good actors, and so I don't know. I didn't want to take away from that, so I've been reading it because
that's awesome.
Yeah, you feel way more of what's going on.
That's cool.
Watching it in the German and maybe Italian. I don't know what the Romans are speaking, but it's not German. It takes place in like 10 BC AD, 10 AD. Whenever Roman took over Germany, I don't remember. And so, where we're going with that? It's the Romans going against the barbarians of Germany, and you're from the mindset or the perspective of the German barbarians, which is weird because we know that they're gonna lose at some point. But the show's been really good. It's got some kind of Last Kingdom stuff going on. There's a guy that is a Roman he's a barbarian, captured by the Romans, raised by the Romans, and now he's back in the barbarian territory, like helping them. So, a lot of fun. There is some nudity. I don't remember there being nudity in the first season. There definitely is in the second season. And one really weird thing, and like, okay. There is a barbarian guy, and then the main character, the Roman barbarian guy, he's got a brother that's in the Roman Empire, and apparently they have a secret love, these two guys, which whatever, but it's out of nowhere. Like, they didn't know each other. They haven't known each other since they were little kids. And then, which is kind of spoilery, but it was just weird. Like, it felt very shoehorned in. And usually I'm pretty like uncaring about that, but story-wise, it seemed really very Roman. If you know anything about Roman culture, ancient Roman culture. But it was like, he was like, I missed you so much. And I was like, you haven't seen each other since you were like 5. Like, that's the whole concept of, yeah. It's a little strange. Other than that, the show itself is really well written and really smart, smartly written. So I enjoy it.
Cool.
What have you been watching, Shelley?
So we're still watching Spy X Family, and it's still very good. It's a very good show. We're not quite on season 2 yet, I don't think. But we're far enough where we're kind of on the next little mini arc, and the theme has changed, right? So that's when you know that there's a new arc. Is when the intro song changes. So, it's just a really good show. I'm with you there, LJ. I remember when you were talking about it.
Yep.
Want to see more of yours assassination stuff, and I'm with you there. But at the same time, I kind of have to be like, okay, well, probably it doesn't relate to the story.
It's not what the show's about necessarily, but it's like
the show's about. So it's like, fine. You know, she's doing it on the side still, but the fact is, like, it's not relevant to the story. So it's like, okay, fine. Like, she's actually able to keep it super secretive, whereas frickin' Lloyd just has to, like, do random spy things in the middle of the day because they're just like, Lloyd, we need you, and he's like, ugh.
I do love that you don't really like. It's almost like I want to see that side of the characters more, but it's like it makes sense to not.
Yeah, I agree. And like you still see that personality shine through, especially with Yor. Like the more we watch, the more I love her. She gets so intense, and her brain just keeps going like straight to like death and straight to like certain like in random contexts, and it's just like so funny to me. And then there's Anya, who's just like honestly just trying to survive, but like not just trying to survive, but she's trying to like, you know, help the mission. She's trying to like do the right thing of what she thinks the right thing is, and that's like really wholesome to see, is that not only is she like persevering through like all these changes in her life from being like this orphan girl who could never get adopted, or whenever she got adopted she would get taken back, to now she feels like she has like this very big role to play, and she has like agency, and she can like do all these things, and that, you know, all these other little kids at this school are like think like, oh, you know, it's really important to get these stars because it's like the school, it's like good, it's good to be a good student at the school, where she's like, no, this is like a world changing,
it's the mission,
it's like we have to do this, and I don't know, I really like it. I love the dynamic, and I love the new addition to the family. I don't want to spoil anything, but I also love that like literally every addition to the family is like you also have to have some weird like power or secret or like thing. I just think how that's been implemented is so awesome, and also just like wholesome. It is a very wholesome show. I really appreciate that, and I'm just like it's awesome because it's like I love these style shows where, well, on one hand I get frustrated when shows are like, oh, it's a will they won't they scenario, like will these characters get together, but I feel like this is the kind of show where you're like they're gonna like actually fall in love with each other eventually. It's just a matter of when. And already you're seeing hints of both of them being like, wow, we really love this family lifestyle. Yeah. Like, I kind of want to keep doing this. Like, originally it was just for one, you know, for essentially selfish reasons, but now it's going to become more than that. And I'm really, that just makes me really happy, like, the sort of wholesomeness with it all. And, it's just such a cool premise, too. So, and the music is just so good still. Like, man, I just really like the show. But, yeah, we still got to finish this season. I don't even know how many episodes are in this season. I want to think that we're kind of near to being done, but it's like a long season. There's like more than, you know, we're at least on episode 13 or 14, and it's like they're still going. So we're like, oh, okay. And then there's an entire new season. So that's nice. At least I feel like I'm used to shows only having like 10 or so episodes. I mean, Andor obviously at 12, I guess.
Yeah, the show feels like it's moving pretty fast. Because, like, all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, more episodes?
Which I'm a big fan of. Kaguya-sama Love is War is probably still my favorite anime. But that one moves pretty slow. But that's, like, part of the joke. That's, like, part of the whole thing is that you know they're going to get together, but it intentionally is going as slow as possible to, like, kind of, you know, it's the joke. Whereas this show, I feel like they're moving pretty fast, and things have to start happening. You know, so that keeps it interesting too. There's really no like lulls or anything. I just really like the show. If y'all are interested, I would recommend watching it.
Cool. What have you been watching, LJ?
I've been watching some stuff. First, I guess just I said I was watching a lot of Santa Claus stuff. So I did start watching the Santa Claus's show.
Yo, I haven't started, but I want to watch it.
It's really interesting. It's definitely more. I don't know. Like I feel like it's better than I expected. I think.
Cool.
But they're definitely doing some things. I think there's only 4 episodes out right now. I think there's 2 more to come out up until like the week of Christmas. I think. So I think this coming week. I don't know what day they come out. I just know that I was like, oh, okay, there's a new one. So we got 2 more weeks for sure. But it's good. Especially if you have nostalgia for the original movies, I think it's worth it. It's good though. Tackles a lot of messaging on like how the world is today. You know, kind of a thing with just how we have such an ease of access, you know, with everything. And, you know, him, you know, like, I mean, the trailer literally talks about how he's finding a replacement, basically. That's what the trailers are showing. So it's him trying to cope with this world after so many years. And I feel like I relate to a lot of what he's going through, especially with my job, you know, my job changed this year, and just as my desires change in certain ways, like, I just feel like I related heavily in that area. So it was like kind of personal to me. But it's good. It's worth a watch, I think, especially this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other show that I started watching Wednesday finally. I heard so many good things about the show.
Yeah, I've heard so many. I heard it's bigger than Stranger Things. I heard it's like really, really good. So.
Well, yeah, like a lot of people watched it. I really like it. I binged. So Saturday night I literally did like nothing that day, and I watched all but 2 episodes in like one sitting.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow!
I'm like, dang. I'm like, it must be good if I just. It is good. Wednesday is a character she has a lot more depth than like she herself would let on. You know, you kind of start to see her, just develop as a character too. You kind of, I will say, I think the weakest part of the show is probably the parents, sadly, but I think that's also because they're not in it as much. But also, like, you just don't really get to see them do much. But I feel like Morticia is better than like Gomez. Like Luis Guzman I normally like his stuff and I like what he's in, but I just feel like he doesn't really own the role of Gomez. Whereas, I forget who's playing. Yeah, I mean, well, so also he's got the look of more like the original TV show version. I guess it's also hard to disassociate, Raul Julia, and stuff like that, like the movie versions of these characters. But I feel like Morticia, at least that actress, does a lot better in that role than Luis Guzman does in his role as Gomez. Mm-hmm. But I think that suffers because, yes, we don't get as much time with these 2 characters as some might want. But the show's not about them; it's about Wednesday.
It's literally called Wednesday. So.
Yeah, it's good. It's really solid. It's very well written, good humor. Yeah, it's worth a watch. I think it feels weird. Like I'm like, man, y'all could have put this out in October, and it would have been
perfect.
Yeah. But it's like, it's out now, so it's worth a watch. So
cool.
Yeah, I gotta watch the other 2 episodes and see how it wraps up. But it's good.
Sweet.
Yep.
That's what I've been watching. I want to check it out at some point.
Yeah.
We will get into the TV news then. A few different things happening, mostly with HBO.
Mm-hmm.
Last of Us got a new trailer. I am sold on the show. I don't know why they keep giving me trailers. I'm ready to watch it. The zombies look great. The acting looks really good. It's going to be emotional, which I think Last of Us kind of needs to be.
Yes.
I don't know if I learned anything else besides that from this.
Yeah, I'm interesting to see the similarities and the differences. Like, are they going to literally have... I mean, I already know they're going to do some of the scenes, like, shot for shot, but, like, they have to fill out some of that time that you're spending usually doing gameplay,
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably going to throw in an arc, or maybe not an entire arc or so, but, like, they're going to probably throw in some original characters, probably going to throw in some original things that happen.
That's what I gotta know. I gotta know, how far are you going into the show?
It'll just cut to, like, literal gameplay.
Like, well, I mean, like, I'm like, do y'all plan to go to, like, part 2 territory? Like... Mm. I mean, that's like, to me, that would have to be years away, especially for the actors.
That's where I think the show should have gone. Would have been the time between Last of Us and Last of Us 2. I would like this first season to be Last of Us, and I hope that they kind of wrap up the first game in this season, and then from there kind of build into its own show. That way, it's capturing new fans. They don't know what's going on. The old fans will be watching because they're fans, but then you're allowed a little bit more freedom to make your own story. You have to lead up to something, but I just think there would be a lot more freedom in that.
I think if they're going to do part 2, they need to... I think the actress that plays Ellie is really going to need to own that role. Mm-hmm. Because obviously she takes a more prominent role in, like, The Last of Us, in the game part 2.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're going to have to do some stuff with her and kind of get her to own that role, and then definitely have some time pass, and have her, age up too. So it's like, I'm really curious to see how ambitious they are with this show and see like how far they want to go.
I would be down. I mean, I don't necessarily need a Last of Us 2 in the show. Just leading up to it, I think would be cool to see. It'd be great if the show ended where Last of Us 2 starts. It would be really cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I will watch that show for sure.
Same. It looks like it's going to be good.
Yeah. Speaking of, I don't remember where Fallout is. We're going to go with the HBO Max changing names. I feel like Fallout's going to Amazon.
Fallout's Amazon, yep.
Yeah. So HBO Max is joined with Discovery. We talked about that a billion times on the show. I feel like it's been happening forever. And the article that I read acted like that was the new news. That's not new news. But CNBC is reporting that the combination of the two channels will be titled Max. So it's just Max, which doesn't roll off the tongue super well. Like, I just can't imagine. Oh, yeah, that's on Max. When I think of Max, I think
that's
of
also like a name
computer.
of a person, you know?
Yeah.
I would just say they call it HBO Discovery Max, if they want to, like to have the full thing in there, like, yeah, because then it'd just be like, oh, Disney Plus,
I think of Max, I think of like a Mac.
Oh,
is it on Max? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not on Windows. It's on Max.
To me, the word Max on HBO Max is like a plus, a prime, or a like it's the add-on to the company, not just like the title. Like
yeah, it's weird. I think that like they could have probably kept the HBO Max name,
or if they just want to call it Discovery Max, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah,
but
that too.
But just Max is like, that's weird.
Discovery would be a cool one to do. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. It's not
Max.
set in stone yet. It's being reported that is what's being talked about. I understand you don't want to confuse people, so you're wanting to keep part of a name. It just seems like a weird choice.
Max Plus. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's on Max Plus. I would actually be more okay with that.
I mean, HBO sense. Max and Discovery Plus. Like, there you go.
Max to the max. Maxed out. Oh, there we go. Call maxed out. That's on maxed out. I could see that. Anyways, we'll see if anything comes with that. It's just kind of a rumor at this point. Small news. Grain of salt kind of stuff. The other piece of news that I'm really excited about is from Fallout, and we all know that there's a Fallout TV show coming out. Apparently, the producer of the Fallout TV series, Todd Howard, who's also Bethesda's director. I didn't realize that. That's pretty cool that he's the executive producer for the show. Says that the story is going to be very separate from the rest of the games, and I assume that it's going to fall into that same premise. So it's kind of like, if I understand Fallout correctly, and I've only played Fallout 4, it's all the same universe. It's just nuclear war happens, and so you have these self-contained stories with these self-contained maps.
Yeah.
So
every game you start off in a vault, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, let me get out and find out that this world is messed up.
So I mean, that would be perfect for a TV show to have a completely different city.
They could even do the whole first episode like in the vault or something. Like,
yeah.
They could have that build up.
That would be cool.
Like
the first episode is them getting in the vault.
And then at the end, before the credits roll, you see them like walk out of the vault and be like, "Oh!" And then
Yeah.
Yep.
You could literally, you could have the vault.
And
just the light shining through the vault, but you can't see past the light, and then it just. Credits.
Yep, I just wrote the pilot episode. Even though the pilot episode's probably already done.
You can email your royalties to contact.
I have seen they have sets. I think like I even saw on TikTok somewhere on the East Coast that they already had stuff up that was like fake superstores and all that from the Fallout universe. Like
that's so exciting.
Already.
I think the show's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it. That's all the TV news that we have. So hopefully we'll see everybody at the Video Game Awards hangouts at twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace. Are you guys geeking out about anything else this week?
Only that there's going to be Tekken 8 news during the Game Awards, and I'm stoked for that. I'm like, yes.
Cool.
Yep, I got nothing.
Anyway, that's it.
Sweet. That's it for me too. So, Shelley, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at TheShellShock24.
And LJ?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at LJ the Paladin.
And you can find me on Instagram at Cody Armour. And on twitch.tv/Geeks Under Grace on Wednesdays occasionally.
Heck yeah.
Missing this week again. After the holiday season, it'll be a little more consistent, but holidays are always rough with work. So yeah. That's it. Keep gaming, keep praying, and God bless.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Geeks Under Grace podcast. We love hearing from you, so feel free to ask us questions or just comment on the show by using the hashtag GUGcast on Twitter, or by joining the GUGcast questions channel in the Geeks Under Grace Discord. If you like this episode, consider leaving a review or rating of our show on your favorite podcast app. If you want even more Geeks Under Grace, you can always go to geeksundergrace.com. We love you all so much, so thank you for listening.